Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to this week's Torah portion, everyone. This week's Torah portion is Teruma, and it is found in the book of Exodus, chapter 25. Teruma in Hebrew means offering, a gift offering that we are raising to God. During the events of Mount Sinai, God gave the Jewish people the Torah. We know the 2 tablets which had engraved in them the 10 commandments. And it was a miracle that the engraving of the 10 commandments was the same way on each side you looked at it. So no matter if you're looking from the front or the back, it was written in the same order, which was a miracle. Now, something very interesting that we see the 10 commandments were engraved onto the stone. It's to show us that the Torah that we received is not just like an ink on a paper which can be removed or erased. It's engraved in who we are, just like the 10 commandments were engraved in the stone. It's one with it. So too the Torah is one with us. When we received the Torah on Mount Sinai, it became part of who we are, part of our identity. Now, there has to be a dwelling place for the 10 commandments, for the scroll that Moses wrote of all the 613 commandments. So God said, I want the Jewish people to build a dwelling place, and I will dwell amongst them. This dwelling place eventually is what the temple was in Jerusalem, the first temple, the second temple. But when the Jews were in the desert, they had a temporary sanctuary called the tabernacle. And God instructed them exactly which materials they should donate, how exactly to build it, and when they should travel, how they take it down, almost like a tent when you're camping. They took everything down, the whole structure, and rebuilt it up when they came to their next stop in the desert. And the Jewish people, the 12 tribes of Israel, would all sleep and camp around the tent. And in this exact formation, that's how they traveled in the desert, almost like a big army, with the tanks and the horses and the men, the foot soldiers. So that was the same thing. There was 12 different tribes. Each one had a camp with a special flag, with a special color and a special emblem. Each tribe. And the Levites and the priests were the closest to the tabernacle, which is this temporary sanctuary. So the Jewish people were to donate 13 materials: gold, silver, copper, red and purple dye wool, flax, goat hair, animal skins, hides, wood, olive oil, spices, and gems, and all of these things were used for the tabernacle. In the inner chamber of the tabernacle, there was the two tablets in the ark. And there was a beautiful curtain leading into this chamber. A woven curtain, beautiful. And on top of the ark, it was called the Ark of the Testament, which had the 2 tablets and the broken tablets, the ones that Moses broke when the Jews sinned with the golden calf. So on top of that was 2, made out of gold, 2 angels, which were facing each other. And it says in a time when the Jewish people did not have peace, and the time when the Jewish people were not serving God correctly, these angels would face backwards. It was a miracle towards each other, back from each other. And in the outer chamber was a 7-branch candelabra called the menorah, also made from 1 piece of pure gold. There was also a special table for the showbread, 12 loaves of bread, which the priests would eat, and were always fresh bread, on the special table of showbread in the tabernacle. Now for the 3 walls, because 1 wall was open, so for the 3 walls, there was 48 big cedar wood, beams of wood covered with gold, and they had silver sockets. Each one was put into a silver socket. For the roof of the tabernacle, it was like a tent. There was 3 layers. There was goat hair, there was animal skins, and then there was a special skin from the tachash animal and from a ram skin. The 3rd layer was from a woolen linen, multicolored, beautiful tapestry. So there's 3 layers of coverings. The 4th wall was 5 poles, 5 posts with a beautiful curtain covering that people would enter in and out of. Right outside the tabernacle, the chambers, there was a big altar, and around that was 60 wooden posts with silver hooks. That was the outer camp. So now this is a beautiful Torah portion. Tabernacle, it says God will dwell in them. What does them mean? It should say God will dwell in it. There's only one tabernacle. Well, the reason is because God is going to dwell in them means each and every one of us. Because there's the general tabernacle, but then there's the tabernacle, the sanctuary inside of us, where we elevate our entire being to become holy and one with God through the sacrifices that we make in our own lives, through the giving that we give to each other, that we elevate, we work on our own character to become more refined. We study Torah, we do mitzvahs, we make the world a better place. Then God is dwelling amongst them, each and every one of us. This is our mission. So it wasn't just a few thousand years ago that God said build a tabernacle, and now we build synagogues because we don't have a temple. But amongst them is not just the synagogues all over the world, it's in every single human being. There can be a temple which elevates the entire human being and eventually elevates the entire world. This is what we're here for. So thank you all for joining the Rebel Rabbi and the Weekly Torah. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Shalom.